And so, in Sansa 5, we come to find the first court session of Joffrey's reign, and it is shown that the hunting tapestries that King Robert loved are already being taken down and piled in the corner. And as Sansa enters the chamber, she notes the presence of certain figures who are still hanging around. We have Jalabhar Jo, who is the Summer Islander who is staying in the capital, and we also find Sir Aaron Santagar and also the Redwine twins, who she named Horror and Slobber. We also see a Lord Giles, who apparently is sickly and covers his face as she approaches, and also Sir Dontos tries to speak to her, however Balon Swan whispers in his ear and turns him away. But then she notes that there are so many of them who are missing, as previously there were hundreds of people here and there are barely 20. We also get some form of confirmation here that it appears that Sir Dontos and Balon Swan are indeed either in the pocket of Baelish or agents of Baelish as he makes conversation with them, which I believe is a subtle way of showing us here that there is a connection between them. So it is Sir Balon who was indeed Baelish's informant during the events in the Kingswood. Joffrey takes the throne, and we see that there is a list read out by Maester Purcell, who are summoned to the capital by Joffrey to pledge their loyalty or be attainted. And so we find that this list comprises of Stannis Baratheon and his wife and daughter, Renly Baratheon, both the Lord Royces and their sons, Loras Tyrell, Mace Tyrell and his brothers, uncles, sons, the Red Priest, Forest of Mere, Beric Dondarrion, Lady Lysa Arryn and her son, Lord Hoster Tully, his brother Sir Brynden, his son Edmure, Jason Mallister, Bryce Carron, Titus Blackwood, Lord Walder Frey and his heir Stevron, Carl Vance, Jonas Bracken, Sheila Went, Doran Martell, and all of his sons. And Pycelle continues to read on. We get several others that are not mentioned by name, but the list ends with Lady Catelyn Stark, Robb Stark, Brandon Stark, Rickon Stark, Arya Stark, which made Sansa draw a stiff gasp as she knew that Arya would never ever do this, and she believes this means that Arya has managed to flee on a ship and get to Winterfell by now. It is also revealed that Tywin Lannister will take the place of Ned as Hand of the King, as per the wishes of House Baratheon. Cersei is to take the place of Stannis on the council, and we find that Janos Slynt, commander of the City Watch, has been elevated and given the title of the seat of Harrenhal and all of its lands and incomes, which is interesting as this is still held by Sheila Went, who is one of the people on the list. Next, they summon forth Sir Barristan Selmy, and Cersei reveals to him that he is being relieved of his position as Lord Commander of the Kingsguard, which takes him aback as the Kingsguard is a sworn brotherhood and their vows are taken for life, and only death releases them from that sacred trust, which Cersei then snaps back with, "Whose death? Yours or your king's?" And Joffrey notes that he let his father die, and that he is too old to protect anybody, and so they are removing him. When she reveals that Jaime Lannister will take his place as the commander of the Kingsguard, Barristan is enraged and spits at the fact that the Kingslayer should be in charge of the King's Guard, which Cersei tells him to have a care of, as remember he is their blood. And Lord Varys tries to mediate the situation by reminding him that they are mindful of his service and they will give him appropriate compensation for his removal from the title. After Littlefinger makes a joke about him being naked for removing his armour, he pulls his sword, which causes the others to take pause, and he comments that he could cut through all 5 of the other guards present as if he was cutting a dagger through cheese, and then notes to them that if they are willing to serve under Jaime, then not one of them is fit to wear the white. He then flings his sword at the foot of the throne and tells Joffrey to melt it down with the others and add it to the chair, and then comments that perhaps Stannis will chance to sit on it when he takes your throne. This enrages Joffrey as Barristan storms out, and then he commands that he be seized and questioned, thinking that he is plotting treasons with his uncles. It is immediately followed by the reveal that the missing place now on the Kingsguard left by Barristan will in actual fact be filled by the Hound, much to the disgust of the other Kingsguard present, as this is a sacred order for knights, and he is no knight. As the proceedings come to an end, Sansa takes her chance to plead before the crown in order to try and get Ned's life spared. As Sansa pleads for Ned's life, claiming that he was either lied to or was confused due to the milk of the poppy, Varys subtly suggests that her words are true and that they are worth listening to, as we do know that Varys seems to have the plan to keep Ned alive in some way for his plots and wants him out of there safely, and so he is subtly trying to get this to be the case. Cersei then notes that if Ned were truly to be repentant, then he must admit to his crimes, and so Joffrey requests that Ned do this, or else he will be attainted and basically marked for death, which leads Sansa to resolve that he will.